woke. I hunted, Rob. I hunted for Tobey Maguire's dick.
It looks like Chuck's taking the skin boat to Tuna Town.
You look goofy.
Do you wanna take a life? Do you wanna cross that line? Because it's a long way back from hell.
I learned a long time ago that there's no sense getting all riled up every time a bunch of idiots give you a hard time. In the end, the universe tends to unfold as it should. Plus, I have a really large penis. That keeps me happy.
My mind is a raging torrent, flooded with rivulets of thought, cascading into a waterfall of creative alternatives.
God darn it, Mr. Lamar. You use your tongue prettier than a $20 whore.
Here they come and the crowd cannot wait. Oh, hail Friday night tight. I apologize because I'm probably late. Oh, hail Friday night tight. Radical light and highly organized. It's Friday night tight, Friday night tight. If you're still not offended tonight, oh, hail Friday night tight. Rest assured that the chances are high. Oh, hail Friday night tight. Radical light and highly organized. It's Friday night tight, Friday night tight. Time has come, they are finally here. Oh, hail Friday night tight. We're not affiliated, just so we're clear. Oh, hail Friday night tight. Radical light, highly organized. It's Friday night tight. Sweet Mother Mary, turn on the oil, you got Reeves. It's Friday night tight, Friday night tight, Friday night tight, Friday night tight, Friday night
Hello. Good evening, everybody. I should be 36 minutes into Project Hail Mary right now, and I decided not to go because I'm tired. I'm going to go another day. Really wanted to see the movie, but damn, I was tired. So I took a nap, an old man nap. It was all, well, yeah, you stay up till 3 a.m, 2 days in a row trying to get this video out, and I just can't do it like I used to. So it's all right. It's not the years, honey. It's the mileage. Let's see who's here. We got Psychotic Mongoose. Oh my God, Velas. I can't say the rest of that. Hi, Velas. Speed Force. Kareji. Ehab Salim. Hertz Donut. That's right, old man Gary. I love being old. I absolutely love it. People like hem and haw about it, and it's like, it sucked being a teenager. Are you fucking kidding me? It's awesome being old. And the best part is I get to, my wife and I both live to give our kids shit. I mean, we give, I give my friend shit all the time. You should see what we do to our kids. It's great. It's so much fun. And then watching younger people like make the same mistakes I did is endless amusement. So it's awesome. I love it. B-Chain, hello. Jester of Roanoke, hello. God, these YouTube names. It's hard. It was hard enough when your names were eligible. Emilio, Matt Hughes, Gregory Lieber, Casual Sadism. I like it when it's casual. Random Logo, Chris Wood, Jack Hammer, Greg Williams, Dark Star. What's up, brother? Net Stealer. How are you, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Check is in the mail, buddy. Check is in the mail. Raging Rhino. You guys were pretty drunk on Yellow Flash. It was like I got there later in the Flash cast, and like Flash, I think, was just in his cups a little bit. So was Rhino. And then I go on a stream last night, and Dante is in his cups. Yeah. And I just get that feeling. It's like, okay, I'm going to hang out for a little while, and then I got to drive him home. Yeah, I love Dante. I absolutely love Dante. Dante. Hey, the ladies love Dante. Okay. And he loves the ladies. All the ladies. He pronounced that in a pinch, he'd hit Grace Randolph. And it's like, okay. But he's all, you would. It's like, no. Well, you're married. I'm like, even before I was married. No. No. I'm not saying I was the pickiest guy alive, but no. No, an annoying voice. Yeah, you can have a 10 right there, and she comes out with a soul, and you're like, Find me a woman that can bake a cake. Yeah, it's Austin 316 Day. I think that's a wrestling reference. Just kidding. It's also, I always pronounce his name wrong, but Gary Plauche. It's Gary Plauche Day. It's the anniversary. So I believe it's the 41st anniversary of a dad doing the right thing. A dad doing the ultimate act of love for his son that he felt like he failed, that he couldn't protect, but it really wasn't his fault. And if you all know the story, he's an American legend, Saint Gary, with the greatest Gary ever, and blew the brains out of the guy who assaulted his son. God bless Gary. Rest in peace. You're in heaven. But yeah, the ultimate dad. Why, Gary? Why? Damn straight. Yeah. And it's awesome that like he got off with like, the cops were his buddies. The judge let him go. And like on straight up, I can't call it first degree murder. It's first degree justice. People talk about justice. That's justice. We all know how we feel about the maps of the world. Maps should all be, hung on a wall by nails, hung on a ceiling. I have maps pinned to my ceiling, crucified. I know there's people out there who say, they have a disease, they have a sickness. Some people think it's an orientation and that we should have understanding. And if they don't act on it, it's okay. And to that, I say, nope, to the wall, to the wood chipper, maybe in the next life. Good luck in the next life. That got dark. Let's talk about fun stuff. We can understand with a bullet. There you go. Absolutely. Well, I mean, listen, I'm just going to take a guess that most of the people who are asking for sympathy might have tendencies. Don't you think? Oh, the dogs are barking. I think, oh my God, I think Ace barked. My new dog Ace hasn't barked once. I think he just barked for the first time. He's a stray. He had a rough life. He's super skinny. He's got to regain like 30 pounds. So he's had a little PTSD, but we've given him his medicine and he's kind of come out of his shell and now he's making noise and his tail wags and he's playing with Remy. It's great to see. So yeah, we got a new dog. So today we got some squaring up to do with FNT, but we are going to discuss Buffy, Firefly, and One Piece. Opla. We're going to talk about Opla a little bit. You know what? No Star Trek talk. I just got a big video that I just released today. And then final words will be in the supercut that'll come out, I think, Thursday. And that's it. And that's it. I think I don't know if Garrett's out there. I think the supercut's going to be 3 hours long. These videos ended up being long. Giving Garrett a week off. And Perry knocked out a video in a night for Nerdrotic Daily of just real quick, basically a short of me kind of discussing, like the Buffy and the Firefly thing. And I mean, the long story short, no Joss Whedon, no Buffy, no Firefly. But the script is making the rounds. And I have read half the script. I have read the last page. And I absolutely understand why it was canceled. They weren't even trying to you would have to hear the cadence. They weren't even trying to mimic Joss Whedon. This felt like it was Sarah Michelle Gellar's project. And they invoke feminism pretty early. And many people go, well, Buffy is feminist. It's 90s feminist, but it's also an adventure featuring demons, and it's far more complex than something that leans completely on the message. It's a superhero story. It's a comic story. Now, I like Angel a little better than I like Buffy, and always have, because that's a straight up superhero story, one of the best ones ever told. That's why Angel's my favorite character. But yeah, it was trash. So when Robert Meyer Burnett is out there saying like this would have been worse than Starfleet Academy, I agree with him. If it's so bad that Disney doesn't pick it up, it must be pretty bad. It must be pretty bad. Oh yeah. We got to talk about Grant Morrison. Grant fucking Morrison. The mad Grant Morrison's a weird dude. I think he identified as non-binary a few years ago. I actually appear in a Grant Morrison comic book. If you have ever heard of a comic book called Happy, I'm in issue 2. And I'm having a scalpel shoved in my face. Maybe I'll find it because it's the art was by my buddy Derek Robertson. But Grant, I mean, he kind of walked it back a little bit, but he kind of shit on Superman's James Gunn, but then he's all, well, it worked within the movie, but we'll see. But he really takes a dump on what Damon Lindelof said when he said, taking the green out was stupid. And this is an argument that I think most of us comic fans have had going back to Arrow, which turned out to be, first couple seasons of Arrow are really good. I'd watch them again. But I always hated that they took the green out. The reason they took the green out is because they thought it was silly. Well, if you think it's silly, then why are you doing it? And that's essentially what Grant says. So we'll go over that too, because he's right. He's 100% right. And you think this far into the comic book game you wouldn't be like you would have creators who would at least have enough enthusiasm to try to adapt it on the source material. But one of the things early on in comic book days is we had people who didn't take it seriously. So we were kind of just happy with what we got, we were happy. I was fine with, Keaton Batman, 89 Batman. I like Batman Returns a lot more than I like Batman. But, I was talking about with Tom on Flashcast. I didn't like that the Joker killed his parents. Sorry, spoilers. I didn't like that. I lived with it and I liked the rest of the movie, but I hated that part. Batman gunning everybody down. I was like, it's a movie, and if you go to the origins of Batman had a gun. So yeah. That's going to take some time. We're going to do a One Piece review, and I'm still going to do a review on that, but it's going to have to be like retrospective because it's so late in the game, and the amount of time that it will take and what little time I had. But I don't know if you missed it. I did dedicate 6 Sundays of live streams totaling up to 20 hours talking about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So please go check that. Those are actually on the main channel with Mahler and Shad and Ryan. And we get into the weeds on it. So still going to do the video, but again, it's going to be more of a retrospective because, it's out of the zeitgeist now, but I still want to do it. One Piece, probably the same situation. Is it Eli? My last One Piece review didn't come out until like 2.5 months after it had premiered. I think this one will be a little sooner, but I'm going to have Perry work on it because Perry's a massive One Piece fan, right? So he knows the anime, he knows the manga, he knows everything from memory. So he is a massive One Piece fan. So we're going to have, but they will be done. They will be done, but more as a retrospective, which will be fun because I'll be able to get into the behind the scenes stuff, and then I won't be spoiling anything, and we can get into the book stuff and look ahead a little bit. But it will be done, sir. It will be done. I kind of have the most fun making those. I had a ton of fun making the Force Awakens 10-year anniversary review, which was just going to be this little thing, and then it turned into this beast, and I had a blast doing that. So we're going to be doing that more. Ghostbusters 2016 on its 10th anniversary. I've never seen it. So I'm going to do a review. Maybe I'll like it. Who knows? Probably not. But we're not going to wait for 10 years. I'm going to do The Last Jedi, because I never really did a review on that. I did a live stream review. I didn't do a video, though. And I did do a video on Rise of Skywalker, but that was early days before I edited in B footage. So maybe I'll redo that. We will see. So, yeah, we're going to talk about, we can get into Buffy. I got to find all the videos. Where were they? Oh, and Sarah Michelle Gellar has come out and assigned blame. I have some thoughts on that. Mahler sent me that just about an hour ago. Sorry, give me just a moment. Looking up Nerdrotic. Jesus Christ, there are so many categories on our super secret Discord. Where did it go? It just disappeared. There we go. There's the videos. There it is. Okay. There it is. So we'll start with Buffy. Do a lot of prep for this show, guys. Okay. Almost 5 minutes. Here we go. Thanks for joining, by the way. Hail to the fellowship. Hopefully I'll see some of you in a couple of days at MegaCon. That's going to be great. There it is.
So I am really sad to have to share this, but I wanted you all to hear it from me. Unfortunately, Hulu has decided not to move forward with Buffy New Sunnydale. I want to thank Chloe Zhao because I never thought I would find myself back in Buffy's stylish yet affordable boots. And thanks to Chloe, I was reminded how much I love her and how much she means not only to me, but to all of you. And this doesn't change any of that. And I promise, if the apocalypse actually comes, you could still beat me.
I still can't understand what she said at the end there. Oh, yeah, by the way. Sarah looks great, by the way. You know, so does her wife, Freddie Michelle Gellar. Dude, bro, dude. Remember those days? Bro, dude, bro. Star Wars has passed you up, bro, dude. Dude, bro. I might feel a little sympathy for her. Listen, she's always hated Joss, right? But I might have felt a little sympathy if she hadn't piled on Joss with the Me Too bullshit that they opportunized. And by the way, for any woman, man, or child who was sexually assaulted in Hollywood, it's instances like this that ruin it for the legitimate cases. And that's what killed the movement, because the movement was never genuine. It was a power play. Many of us have said that for many years, and it's led us directly to the girl boss era that we have now, and still have, by the way. It's going away a little bit, thank God, but we still have. And they decided to pile on Joss because she had a bunch of resentment towards him. The late Michelle Trachtenberg. Listen, I don't want to shit on the dead or anything, but she had her problems too, which is sad and unfortunate. And I think they've denied this, but I would guess substance abuse or addiction was involved in some way, and that's very sad. I've lost a bunch of friends that way. And then Charisma Carpenter, who has had no career, wanted to somehow use this to get back in the Buffy. She did an audio adventure. It sucked. It was fucking horrible. And others. But you notice a lot of other like close friends to Joss, like they didn't come out in his defense, but they haven't abandoned him, like Nathan Fillion. Like Nathan Fillion probably could have shut a lot of this down by saying, I never saw that stuff. Now, other people did say, I never saw that stuff, but we have to believe women. Bullshit. You don't have to believe women. You don't. Women are lying sacks of shit just like men are. And particularly in Hollywood. Hollywood is an opportunistic place. Nothing there is real at all. If we think there's any type of authenticity, if we don't think that there's like for the Oscars, which we'll talk about a little bit, if we don't think there's some payola going on there, of course there is. It's all fucking fake. That's established. But she piled on Joss, the one guy who might have gotten this series greenlit. She piled on, and she thought she could get this show off the ground. That's why I couldn't believe that it was announced. But I think the biggest red flag was when it was announced, it was a pilot. And I'm like, a couple of years ago, this would have been ordered for 2 seasons automatically. So the fact that it was a pilot, I was like, and a pilot, unfortunately, that we're never going to see. I kind of wish I could see it now. But she piled on Joss, and along with Ray Fisher and Gal Gadot and others. And I know the Snyder people don't like him, and no, he shouldn't have fucking taken on that movie. He absolutely shouldn't have taken on that movie. But he did. And it might have been over his frustration with Marvel or whatever. But it ended up ruining his career. And now the guy just quit. He tucked his tail between his legs and quit. Don't know why, because he's just an asshole. He is a male feminist hypocrite, which is just a male feminist. Okay. He has TDS. Yes. He's an asshole. Yes. It doesn't mean he should be fired. But his name is like dead in that town. And I couldn't even believe that they can't get him on for a cartoon. So I asked today somebody who knows him, and he is completely given up, which is I think it's sad because he could fight for himself, but I think there's a lot of shame A lot of shame. Either way, Buffy is dead, and it should be dead, and I'm glad it's dead. And like, leave it alone. You know what? Take the money that you were going to put towards a Buffy series and remaster Buffy. Like, do a proper remaster of Buffy. Because right now it's just like DVD quality, and some of it's awful. They did do a remaster, and it's terrible, but they need and remaster Angel and remaster Firefly. But she's very sad. Everybody's very sad. And what did you expect to happen? Like, really? Mahler and I were like, when this episode was going to come out, we were like, oh, bring it on. Because, and if you read the script, it reads this way, and we predicted it on Real BBC. And I think a bunch of other people predicted it too, that this was going to be basically an apology tour for Joss Whedon. And even if Joss Whedon came back, I think it would have been the same thing. I think he would have had to kiss the ring and through his scripts do this apology tour and make it uber feminist. So I don't necessarily think Joss Whedon coming back would have been a guarantee that it was good. Just look at Doctor Who with Russell T Davies. I think it might have been a very similar situation. So it's gone. That's good. Make new shit. Leave the old shit alone. And it's too late anyway. If they had brought Buffy back, like, I don't know, maybe right after Joss did the Avengers, it would have probably been huge. He was still in his prime. But Sarah Michelle Gellar didn't like him, didn't want to do it, thought she was going to have a career outside of that, and she really hasn't. And that's the reason she came back. That's the reason. She's tried some other shows. They've all failed. And Xander, that poor guy, Nicholas Brendan, I can't believe he's still around. Hopefully he's sobered up. I haven't checked lately. It was a year ago. I checked his Facebook videos were just rough to watch, man. Ooh, poor guy. Poor guy. Addiction is hell. So to follow that up, we have the big Firefly announcement, right? So the big Firefly announcement, we'll get more into this when I talk to Az and Mahler tomorrow. We'll probably spend the whole damn show on it, just so you know. So this big lead up to Firefly, when Az first told me about it, I initially thought it was just a reunion show or something. And then they said, no, it's not. And it looked to me like maybe it's a live action thing, but no, it's an animated series. And I will repeat what I said. Anything less than a live action thing is a disappointment to me, to be honest with you. Is this it? There we go.
As of this moment, the word is out. We are going to try to bring back Firefly. This time, we're going to animate it. Guys, bringing back Firefly, crazy or not crazy?
Not crazy.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Not crazy.
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 It's crazy, but it just might work. Now, to do this, we would need Joss's blessing. I got it. The rights.
So Mahler mentioned this to me, and he's absolutely right. The fact that Nathan Fillion just mentioned Joss's name and said he needed his blessing shows that you can't say his name. He's not Voldemort. And it's kind of ballsy. But they also, in all the articles they wrote, they made a point to say Joss Whedon is not involved in this in any way, shape, or form. I mean, think of the people working in Hollywood right now. People still walk around and respect Woody Allen. And again, like, hate Joss all you want for his whack political takes and stuff, but he still shouldn't be canceled, right? But he is.
From 20th Century Fox
/ Disney.
They got excited. They said yes.
The showrunner.
So Disney got excited, everybody. So they've got Joss's blessing. Disney's super excited about this. They got showrunners, which aren't necessarily bad showrunners, by the way.
I got two. Tara Butters. Agent Carter, Dollhouse, Mark Guggenheim, Arrow, Flash. They're married. They met through Firefly.
A script.
These are all like pretty much Joss Whedon disciples too.
We got it.
They got
An animation house.
Academy and Emmy award-winning Shadow Machine. The last piece we need is a home.
A home.
Oh, you don't have a home for this. You've built up all this hype for a pitch. And that's what this is. This is pitch phase. I'm not wrong about Woody Allen. Oh, what? Well, I might be. Are you saying that some people in Hollywood won't mess with him at all? You're right. But he's still revered and respected. He married his stepdaughter. There's no universe where that's okay, in my eyes. But if you're talking about like some people in Hollywood have thrown to the curb, they have, but he's still mostly respected.
A home.
Oh,
yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. So they don't have a home. Disney's excited about it, but not excited enough to give it a place on Disney Plus or Hulu. The place where they just released Wonder Man and Echo and Ironheart, but which I would take a chance on an animated Firefly show over any of those. And as I mentioned in my video, the older people will remember that when Firefly was canceled, it had cult status. That's the reason the movie got made. It went viral in the way things went viral 20 years ago, because things went viral 20 years ago too. It's just been going on for a long time. And it was really popular at cons. I went to all the Serenity panels, and to a man and woman, they were all great to their fans. They never shit on the fans. Nathan Fillion was brilliant with the fans, and it got a movie made, and it failed. There's a lot of reasons it failed. It's a great movie, absolutely great movie, but there just wasn't enough Firefly fans to go. They couldn't pull in the general population on that one. And it's even worse now because Firefly is the most Joss Whedon thing ever created. And also, he's not involved. It's going to be animated. It's a midquel. Well, it's a season 2, so it takes place before Serenity. So we're not moving anything forward. Shepard Book, who's going to voice him? You know, Ron Glass, the late, great Ron Glass is dead. And I couldn't be less interested. There would have been a time, even with an animated show, I would have been interested. It would have had to have Joss Whedon. But I mentioned in my video, at this point, why don't you crowdfund it and make it on your own and put it on YouTube? If it's got Disney's blessing, then crowdfund it and make it on your own. Because I think you could crowdfund this. The problem is you're using like this top tier Hollywood animation studio, so it's going to be massively overpriced in a time where animation studios like don't have long to live. They just don't, for the most part. So yeah, I think it's really underwhelming, and I would say just let it die. Let it die. You got to it's a perfect season of television, and it's got a brilliant end with Serenity. You don't need any more. Plus, it's well past its time. Sorry to say. I love the crew of the Serenity. I love the crew on Firefly. Like I said, they're really great to their fans. Some of their panels were some of the best panels I've ever seen. Nathan Fillion knows how to work a room like better than anybody I've ever seen at a con. They were funny as hell. But yeah, it's just make something new. Make something new. And plus, I have read the comics that came out afterwards that were written by other people, and they were all pretty much dog shit. Nathan Fillion's awesome. There's nothing not awesome about Nathan Fillion. I would say like the thing I liked about Superman's James Gunn is his Guy Gardner. He's a brilliant dude, though, and he's got a hit show. He's got multiple hit shows. He's a big TV star. He's a big TV star, but yeah, it's even if it gets made, I don't think this thing gets made. I don't. I could be wrong. What's up, Yellow Flash? But I don't think it gets made. Unless like Netflix picks it up or something, maybe. But it's oh my God, the animated people are not going to like to hear this, but it's just a fact. Like it or not, not everybody's going to be interested in something animated. In the American audience. I know, like, oh, manga and anime. I understand that, but we're talking about the American audience. It's a barrier for a lot of people. Just is. Not for me necessarily, but for other people. All right. There's that. And yeah, just make something new. For God's sake. Well, I mean, cartoons are for children, but I would love to see something like Heavy Metal get made, in the spirit of heavy metal. Heavy Metal is fucking brilliant. But we don't get that. Yes, Nathan Fillion did voice Hal Jordan. Yes, he did. By all accounts, he's just a good dude. 40K, Warhammer 40K. The fan animated stuff is the shit. It is awesome. Yeah, cartoons aren't all for children. Except for like American cartoons and that Cal Art shit, I think set cartoons back and people watching them fucking years and years. But that's also why anime's like kicking everybody's ass in that aspect. But let's go. There we are. Oh, Oscars last night. I can talk about it. Like, they were fucking boring. So we did the watch party on Film Threat, and it was tons of fun. Chris was like a couple of minutes ahead of everybody, so he'd shout out the winners before anybody knew. It's so funny. He kept doing it too. I was laughing my ass off. What I will say is this, and I might post this on X later. This is the 1 year I will agree, ladies and gentlemen, on this 316. This is the 1 year I will agree with Oscars So White. You heard me. I will agree with Oscars So White. Hashtag Oscars So White, because they gave the best picture to the single most woke white person movie ever made. One battle after another, won a bunch of Oscars because PTA made what he self-admitted he admitted to himself is a cathartic political piece of art that's supposed to vent the frustration of how the Hollywood liberal feels about the world right now, and he made it to win awards. It's not a good movie. It's a boring slog. And I think a lot of people, I know a lot of people, a lot of cinephiles hide behind it's an art film, so we're looking at things in the abstract. Certain things still need to make sense in your film. Like a terrorist group being able to take over an ICE facility with like 3 people. Because one guard was asleep. Stupid shit like that. And then, Sean Penn being this comic version of what they think the enemy is, and the rudimentary and I would say ham-fisted agenda that was in there about immigration. It was it was long, it was boring. I think PTA is massively overrated. He's done some movies that I like. But hiding behind like it's an art film and you just don't understand it, and it's a political art. It's like, shut the fuck up. It was shot so well. Really? That car scene was shot that car chase scene. I'm like, oh, you said that because somebody else said that, and somebody else said that. But yeah, the movie's a piece of shit. And it won because all the politics involved. Oh, and let's not forget the other thing that I wanted to point out is the fetishization of black people. The Hollywood liberal, Get Out. I mean, it's what it was. That's what it was. And of course it won. And then the Oscars are going to go, oh my God, people are losing interest in Hollywood. People are losing interest in our town. I don't know why. We talked about it yesterday that ticket sales are down almost 50% now. Shooting within Hollywood is down 40%. It is a shadow of what it used to be in 2018 at the peak of streaming TV. I just watched a video about who working WGA writers who have to work at Whole Foods now, or drive Uber, or who are just flat out unemployed. With AI has already cost jobs in metadata, and soon they will come for CGI. Any kind of programming is gone. It's just dead. So that place it's a ghost town. Giant studios are empty right now. So the one thing they need to do is shut the fuck up, make stuff, entertain people, and be as nice as possible, because you act in the service of your industry, and they're really bad at customer service. They're really, really bad. And they tried to dial it down. You could listen, the edict went out. They would have been talking all night if people said shut the hell up. And they know they need to. But then they give 6 Oscars to one woke after another. 5, I don't care how many. But and most people are just done. They're like, half the country that you shit on, you now want to come back to them with with your hand out. That's going to be the problem with the Firefly reboot. Is like, we need the fans. Oh, okay. Well, the Firefly people have been really good to their fans. That's great. How good has Hollywood been to the fans and the audience? Not very good. Yeah, and you have fucking hypocrites like Leonardo DiCaprio talking about the environment, flying around in jets. He's got his own, all his girlfriends have expiration dates. If he was just a player and an unapologetic player, I mean, fine, but don't be a player out there and don't go, I care about the world. I tried watching Firefly. That shit is old as fuck. Well, that makes me feel older. Feels like yesterday. Yeah, Leo Epstein, maybe. He likes them young, but they're of age. So I don't want to put that jacket on him. I think he's a good actor, but I saw somebody giving shit to Christian Bale, saying all he can do is play a tortured person, basically a tortured, angry semi-psycho. And I'm like, it's pretty much all Leonardo DiCaprio plays. But I liked him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But as far as where did my headphone go? Gosh dang it. There we go. As far as the Oscars are concerned, I don't know what the ratings are. they're coming over to YouTube soon, so we'll be able to react. But that was, oh no, I don't know if I want to sit through that again. It's like I almost wanted them. It's like oh my God, where's Will Smith? Conan O'Brien was pretty good. He was okay. Jimmy Kimmel came up and bitched about Trump. A woman won the first woman to win cinematography for one battle after another, which was, are you fucking kidding me? The cinematography in Frankenstein was objectively better. And the cinephiles on Letterboxd are going to go, what are you talking about? You troglodyte. It was better. Guillermo del Toro is a better director than Paul Thomas Anderson. I'll say that too. Boogie Nights was great. There Will Be Blood is great. Everything else is he's not worthy to put in the same conversation as like people are like he's like cute. Like I like Wes Anderson more than Paul Thomas Anderson, like a lot more. But Boogie Nights is fucking awesome. Not going to take that away from him. But yeah. So Oscars, K-pop Demon Hunters won. So I guess a lot. I'm fine with that winning. That was cool. Frankenstein did win some awards, and that's great. I just like if you looked at the Best Picture thing, and even Paul Thomas Anderson like acknowledged that. Like he brought up the best pictures from 1975. And if you listen to that list, it's like none of these movies deserve to be, you know what? The Oscars should really like no movies deserve to be best picture this year. If you really had standards, I liked F1. I like Frankenstein. Are those best picture nominees? Well, they are last year for sure. But none of those movies would even be considered 20 years ago. Yeah, The Bride was snubbed, but she won Best Actress. What's her name? She won Best Actress as her movie flops. Chloe Zhao's movie Hamnet was nominated for multiple Academy Awards as her show was canceled on the same weekend. Maybe that's why she was all wearing black. She was mourning. We're going to get to Grant Morrison right now. Because that shit was funny. And I think it's on his Substack. So maybe we can just go to his Substack. I'm just trying to find. It's rather wordy. All right, this works. Let's do this. All right, my Green Lantern stories with Liam Sharp ended with the whole universe facing Ultra War, the final war of everything against everything else. Conflict spreads for the stars to the streets, world versus world, empire versus empire, state versus state, total fragmentation, then neighbor against neighbor, molecule versus molecule, atom versus atom, until all there is destroys itself. Creation reduced to ash. Not even the raw building blocks of matter remaining. Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, puts a stop to all of that with the winning combination of love and will. TV producer, writer Damon Lindelof comments, notwithstanding the green in Green Lanterns, green is not stupid. Why does a writer attach himself to this kind of narrative if he thinks it's fundamentally stupid? You don't hand CSI scripts to patronizing writers who condemn forensics experts and their haircuts as stupid. So why hire people who are ashamed and in denial about the comic book material that they've been assigned to develop? Why don't they just turn down the jobs or they're not suited for? It's not like he needs the money, and Lindelof has proven that he can come up with his own ideas. What is this jockish, dismissal? I can read. What is this jockish dismissal of superhero conventions intended to prove anyway? Does Lindelof imagine it makes him seem less nerdy? It's a bit too late for that. So what's this all about? The only people who give a fuck about the Lanterns TV series are Green Lantern fans. Why alienate them at the start? That feels more like stupid. Green Lantern is a much more evocative and dramatic title than Lanterns. Could not agree more. Just as Raise the Red Lantern is a better movie title than Raise the Lantern. And anyone who can't grasp that shouldn't be anywhere near superhero stories. Yep, I wonder where we've heard this before. The show might be good, but how much better could this stuff been if the studios are willing to hire the right people for the job instead of phoning their embarrassed friends to water the source material down? Hollywood will die of insularity. Hollywood will die of insularity and inbreeding. That's exactly what's happening to it. Fucking spot on, dude. Hollywood is dying of the inbreeding. That's brilliant. Woke inbreeding. Woke, he wouldn't say that, but I will. Woke inbreeding. Savage. And he's right. Do you guys remember when producer John Peters, who wanted to put a giant spider in Superman because Kevin Smith told us 1,000 times, do you also remember there were initial talks to not have him fly, not fly at all? True story. Do not involve people who do not respect the source material. I think we have about realistically, thousands of examples of that over the last 10 years. Alex Kurtzman openly admitted he was never a fan of Star Trek. Jar Jar Abrams, who he worked under, openly admitted he was never a fan of Star Trek, and it showed. It absolutely showed. Kathleen Kennedy has never had any connection to Star Wars prior to her being given the job at Lucasfilm at all. And it showed. They're constantly trying to make these things something they aren't or something else. Let's make True Detective Green Lantern. How about make Green Lantern? Let's make Harry Potter Star Trek. How about making Star Trek? Let's make Frozen meets Kill Bill Star Wars. And all this goodwill that was built up by brilliant people, brilliant men and women over decades has been burned to the ground. Burned to the ground. And we are at the end stage of franchises. Now, that's a term. I mentioned this in my supercut. That's a term I don't necessarily like, but it's just the one that sticks. These are stories that we loved. These were the tapestry of our lives, when we were growing up, and they are the foundation of pop culture. Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Marvel Comics, DC Comics. These are like the foundations of pop culture and nerddom, and they have all been completely dismantled by unbelievably untalented, woke inbred, like that Grant Morrison, hacks hacks who want to tell their own stories, but can't because they're not talented enough. So they, like all parasites, like the parasite of communism, they attach themselves onto something that's established and bleed it dry. And I have to admit, I did not think I was willing to give James Gunn a chance with the DCU. I was even kind of enthusiastic about it. If you recall, it's done. It's cooked. It's over. Like he fucked it up from like Jump Street. It's kind of amazing how bad they fucked this up. And Matt Reeves is probably going to come out looking the best. And listen, the Batman, it's got a horrible third act. It brings the entire movie down for me. And listen, I don't need an apology for all the shit I got on the one video I've ever gotten ratioed on when I did a trailer reaction. And I said, I'm tired of early Batman. And it looks like I don't necessarily love that costume. His cape looks like a trash bag. And I got fucking destroyed in the comment section. But I don't need an apology. It's okay. Penguin was awesome, though. Penguin was awesome. And you know what? The cast for the Batman Part 2 is looking really good. So maybe he learns. If they had cut it an hour short, left out the whole incel shit, and pretty much ended it around when Carmine Falcone got assassinated, like that would have worked. The first 10 or 15 minutes were awesome. But as far as Grant Morrison is concerned, he is absolutely right on this one. 100% right. And you're already hearing some of the cope, like, well, Grant Morrison never made it in Hollywood and he's bitter. And maybe he is. I don't care. Doesn't make him wrong on this at all. And incidentally, his works are the stuff James Gunn likes the most. So I can't imagine Gunn is happy about this at all. But I am, because somebody finally said, my very first complaint when this was announced, where's the word green? Why is it called lanterns? That's gay. And then this cope out there, well, it might be other colors of the spectrum. I don't give a shit. There's other colors in the spectrum in the fucking Green Lantern comic book. If you want to make it plural, because they were talking about like, well, it's more than one Green Lantern, then call it what you were originally going to call it, Green Lantern Corps. And it certainly looks like Hal Jordan's going to die at the end, because he's not going to be in Man of Tomorrow. But the other guy is, who I think is good casting for Jon Stewart. I got no problem with his casting. I thought the casting was good, and this was the project I was interested in until I heard the name Damon Lindelof. Then I'm like, I'm out. There's another retro review I'm going to do. Watchmen, season 1. It's Twitter, but I can't tell you how many times like people really slept on how great Watchmen was. Watchmen, if you want a single season to encapsulate the woke era of Hollywood, it is Watchmen. In genre, it is Watchmen. Yeah, there's an egg right there. Eggs in the chat. Oh, fuck. So you saw it, Snacks. God. I mentioned the bullet points of what's in there that sound bad. There is so much more. There is this massive gay storyline, and Don Johnson is like a secret KKK guy, but he's not really KKK. he just reveres it because his grandpa. So he's got this giant closet that he opens up, and he like looks at the grand poobah, whatever the fuck they wore, and then he gets hanged for it by Louis Gossett Jr., who was like rolling out there on his wheelchair. Not like Louis Gossett Jr. And then like his character is gay. And it's gay in the golden age, and it's just it was a progressive wet dream. It absolutely was. So it's the people who liked one woke after another liked Watchmen. It's a grand wizard. It's a grand wizard, Harry. Grand poobah, whatever the fuck they're called. Stupid pointy hats. Oh, and they took the Tulsa Massacre. I'm blanking on the name of the villain now because it's been a while since I watched it. Oh my God, who was the villain in it? Played by Matt Frewer. And so the Tulsa Massacre, which is an event that happened. It was terrible, but they made it into like this giant war where planes were bombing Tulsa. Because Tulsa was like this, I guess, this black utopia in the 30s or something like that. And they changed that real history into somebody was mind controlling everybody, which if you think about it for a minute, takes away from the impact of the story because they were mind controlled. But these are woke white people. This is the same industry that will have a white woman guide Rosa Parks onto the bus. That's Doctor Who, by the way. It was the Black Wall Street. That's right. Black Wall Street. And I was criticizing this in a live stream, and some guy came in and goes, "This is the most dangerous live stream on YouTube." And I'm like, that's right. We're so dangerous when we talk about TV shows. So dangerous. The good old days. Fargate did racism better. Well, they dealt with it better. Fargate also killed the god of feminism in a universe and made it so peaceful that everybody from every other universe wanted to move there. One Piece. I've watched it because of fucking Star Trek. I've watched it fragmented. I kind of want to sit through and binge it, Jeremy. I want to binge it all the way through. Take my little notes down and get ready. But I love it. Absolutely love it. Now, I haven't gotten that far in the anime. I heard Flash's point of view, and I'm like, well, I'm definitely not going to watch the anime just yet because I don't want to hate this. And I can, it's always good to have something else to watch later on. But I loved it. I will say my mind might change on this, but I don't think it's as good as season 1. Because I think Shad said this, and I agree. The emotional impact of the final episode doesn't hit like the final episode of season 1. But season 1 was so fucking good. So I still think it's like an 8.5 out of 10. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I know a lot of people aren't. That's fine. It's the exact same arguments that that I'm hearing from season 1. I mean, word for word almost. So, and I understand. And like, if people are upset about race swaps, I'm not going to argue against it. You have every right to feel that way. Absolutely. Especially when you're attached to the source material. And maybe, you can understand how Tolkien fans feel at this point, especially with Rings of Power. But it's fun. It's just it's a feel good, fun, adventurous story that I could completely understand why people like, if you see clips of Luffy screaming, you're like, how could anybody like this? And I felt the same way. When I saw the trailer for season 1, I'm like, oh, this looks fucking terrible. This is going to be Cowboy Bebop all over again. And I was fucking wrong. I was wrong. And Luffy is actually a really endearing character. A really endearing, optimistic character. Enthusiastic as well. But it's got an earnestness to it that other anime live actions lack. I would say the only one I've ever liked is the Speed Racer movie when the Wachowski brothers had their dicks, but which I love. I wish that movie was in 4K. I love that movie. I was worried about Chopper. When I saw Chopper in that first trailer, I'm like, it's going to be Baby Yoda, and I'm going to hate it. I'm going to hate it. I can hear the One Piece people who have seen the anime and read the manga going, you did not just compare Chopper to Baby Yoda. That's what I thought. I didn't know. But then they spend the penultimate episode giving you like the background of Chopper, and it hits as hard as the Sanji episode. It's good. It's good. And Katie Seagal, I'm so glad Jamie Lee Curtis the witch, I'm forgetting her name, didn't get that role, and Katie Seagal did. Peg Bundy, she did a great job. Robin and Smoker are my two favorite new characters. She has a lot of arms. It's a crazy power. Miss All Sunday. We don't get her name till the end, but it's Miss All Sunday. Usopp has a great hero moment, which is pretty badass. Seeing the coward stand up, and he's just getting the freaking hell beat out of him, and he stands up. It's like, oh, yes. Character arcs, characterization, heroism. It's got pretty basic themes. I think some people were calling it woke. I don't know how. I mean, like maybe with the race swaps. I mean, you have a better argument with like Kobe than anything else. But as far as like thematically, I don't necessarily see that anywhere. There seems to be a pretty good balance of men and women in charge. And I mean, there's one scene where Nami, Vivi's like part of the crew now, and Nami goes, well, it's nice to have another girl on the ship. A girl would say that. I don't know. The world government, and forgive me, I'm a normie on this, so I'm seeing it just from the OPLA point of view. The world government is a globalist organization. That's something I'm against. So there is a revolutionary. I don't necessarily know if he's like a communist revolutionary, but they're certainly kind of making him look that way. But the story itself, and I know like doesn't Hassan Piker like it? But I'd also point out that when they were having that huge protest in Mexico against the socialist government, they were flying Luffy flags. So I think and maybe it changes, but it's a story of individualism, finding your own dream. Lots of good themes in it. So we'll see how it turns out. We'll see how it turns out, but and it's going to be 2 years. They started filming season 3 right away, so I still think it's 2 years. But the sets are unbelievable. Some of the CGI is dodgy, some of it's really fucking good, and I can't wait to watch it again. I can't wait to watch it again. So for me anyway, we've gotten 2 great shows in the first 2.5 months of the year, and that's a fucking miracle. I mean, usually it takes us 8 months to get 2 good shows. We get one in the first 2.5. We get 2. And then, like, of course, they sandwich fucking Starfleet Academy, which is the worst of the worst. And it's almost a holdover of a bygone era that thankfully is, well, I don't know, maybe ending, but it's never going to, like, be gone, right? That's always going to be part of Hollywood. And that's going to be their undoing at this point. I mean, if you're into acceleration, you know what? Bring on an Acolyte season 2. Bring on a Starfleet Academy season 2. Give Ironheart a season 2. Let's fucking go. Give She-Hulk a season 2. And it will end, but I'm still seeing articles written every couple of weeks now at this point, where it's not even a what went wrong, and they're always navel gazing. It's not a what went wrong with Hollywood. Now it's like, what do we do next? Because this is dead. Like Bloomberg just did a video, which is I mean, it's kind of a shorter version of the video I made in November. They have some interviews in it, and it's like corporate news fluff shit. But there is some numbers that are pretty interesting. But they bring up the strikes damaged Hollywood. It wasn't just COVID. It was the strikes that did the most damage to Hollywood. Fragmentation. And because of those strikes, it led to runaway production, corporate mergers. The only thing they don't ever bring up is audience alienation. Audience alienation is the primary problem in Hollywood. It is the foundation of all of their failures. Because if they had a bigger audience, they would have more money and they would have more people working. But they don't seem to understand that. The thing is, they're having trouble grappling with the fact that they are not as important as they think they are. And they're definitely not as important as they were. So let's give one woke after another 6 Oscars. Let's see how that works out. Michael B. Jordan has the potential to be the new Pedro Pascal. I don't know. Have we ever, I mean, the message is dead. Well, Francis, the people's willingness to put up with the message has been dead for a while. But you have 2 great examples of 2 shows. Night of the Seven Kingdoms unquestionably does not have the message. By the way, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, One Piece, both written by pretty liberal guys. But, I mean, if you want evidence that the message is dead, Robert Meyer Burnett, we all know where he sits politically, hates Starfleet Academy. But that's made for somebody that they think has the same politics. And he fucking hates it with the intensity of 10,000 suns. And he's not the only one. I have friends. I should just end it there. You're like, what? Yeah, I have friends. I have friends who don't like Trump, but hate woke Hollywood. Absolutely hate it. It's just a matter of they need to kind of rise up, and they can't. They can't for a lot of reasons. It's funny is, people say Hollywood is run by the Jews. It's run by the gay Jews, and mostly the gays. So the most closeted people in Hollywood are conservatives or Republicans or libertarians. And it's only gotten worse. We're going to get to the square up part. When South Park was good, it was, God, what was the special? Was it the Streaming Wars? I can't remember what special it was, right before they shit the bed. And it was It was, hang on. I got to get the name right. Yeah, it was Kyle. So there were the whole episode was pretty much the Jews don't run Hollywood. And by the end, they get Kyle to run Hollywood. And then they admit at the end that you know what? The Jews do. Like, it was terrible that you pointed that out. And then at the end, they're like, oh yeah, the Jews run Hollywood. It's such a banger ending of that one. Was it? The Pandaverse was great. Timmy. I mean, the Jews started Hollywood. But yeah, I remember when, like, you can't say that. It's like, they do. But actually, the gays run Hollywood now. It's the gay mafia. That's why, I mentioned it in my Star Trek video. That's why you get that found chosen family theme in fucking almost everything now. And a lot of people see that as an alphabet thing, but it's way beyond that. It's a Marxist thing. It is a Marxist thing. Anonymous for $5 says the beginning of human civilization starts with a woman not taking accountability after breaking the law. She was tricked into it and her man didn't stop her. Women need to be oppressed more. Yeah, one of the first acts of a woman is not taking accountability. Kind of tracks. It kind of tracks. Names don't matter for $5 says you'd have a better ROI if you buried $90 million in your backyard than giving it to Maggie Gyllenhaal, because there is a chance your dog will dig it up and give it back to you. Hell, that's a good point. You know what? If you just set it on fire, at least you'll get warm. She blamed the snake. Andy Kohler for $20. It's his first super chat, he says. We will not be gentle. Thanks for the inspiration for me to cast my net as we were instructed. I have launched a line of wholesome, nerdy t-shirts. Check out Radian Teesprings. Etsy.com, radianteesprings.etsy.com. To help a fan out, let's create culture. What you do is you create your own thing within culture. All due respect, I've heard that a lot. We're going to create our own culture. You can't create your own culture. Culture is culture. So you create your own niche or thing within culture, which if we have enough people doing that are good and have common sense and have respect for an audience that they want to sell things to, then that makes the culture, the pop culture, better. Pop culture, we're talking specifically. But creating a culture, a little difficult. Pee Poo Poo Man has given us $1. Thank you very much. Robert Becker has gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships for $25. Jesus Davila has gifted 1 for $5. Thank you. Anime Problem for $5. I'm so happy with how they did Dory and Broggy in the show. Their story and the honor they displayed. It's just cool. Yeah, that was cool. The Giants, that was awesome. Mexi Rage for $10. I'm just waiting till the live action goes to shit because it's going to happen. And I know it will because it always does with Netflix. So I'm just waiting for when people start saying it sucks. Well, they already are. Mexi Rage. They already are. And I think that's just going to be the case. I mean, dude, that was the case for comic book movies in the early days. Absolutely was the case for comic book movies in the early days. You know what? I might have been one of those people. I might have been one of those people. That's fandom, but the vast majority of people who've watched the show like it. If you go to Twitter, you wouldn't think so. Now, then there's the One Piece like hardcore fans who that's a huge fandom. It's been around for a long time, and if they don't like it, they don't like it. You don't shit on them for it. You know, they don't like it. I respect that. But as far as Netflix fucking it up, most certainly that could happen next season. I mean, that clock's going to be ticking for a couple of years, but we have brand new showrunners next time around. Brand new showrunners. Rob for $10. Between three folks on this panel, I get 3+ hours a week of entertainment from Star Trek Academy, Starfleet Academy, over 6 with all of my YouTubers. I will be sad in the off seasons. Let that math sink in. Well, I mean, you got lots and lots of hours of entertainment, and I don't want to. I know Disparu will do every episode, a review of every episode of season 2. I will not. I did it once. I will not do that again. I will go back to my original formula, which is like 2 or 3 videos, which is beginning, middle, and end, or beginning and end. That's what I usually do for precisely this reason. When I'm locked in and I promise 10, it's like I can't make videos on other things. And it's brutal. Just by the way I structure videos, it's pretty brutal on the editors. So I will not. Disparu will. I don't think Az will. I think Az even said so. He's like, I ain't doing this again. 77 for $10 says, what is better story in general? The divine hero sacrifices himself to save all, or the hero masters himself and defeats the ultimate villain and returns to his people? What's the better story? I guess it depends on your taste. If you're talking in total generalities, I would rather see the hero master himself, defeat the ultimate villain, and return to his people. Not a big fan of, I'm not a big fan of heroes dying at the end. There's some great stories where that happens, but the divine hero sacrifice is, very Christian, Jesus, but and that could be awesome. But I also like it when the hero goes through some trials and tribulations and overcomes them. Supposedly Greg for 10 Chilean pesos. Hey, Gary, will you and Ryan be continuing to make the Harry Potter streams to talk about the new audiobooks and the lore? It's almost 3 months since you made the first stream. Yeah, we're going to get back to it after MegaCon. But we're going to be covering the books, so we're not really going to be covering the audiobooks. We might discuss them within it, but we're going to be covering the books. Where am I at? On the Order of the Phoenix is fucking awesome. It is awesome. Oh my God. So I am just at St. Mungo's Hospital for Magical Maladies and Injuries, which are 2 of my favorite chapters because, because of Neville. Like, you get Neville's backstory and you're like, oh, Neville, that hopeless, dumb kid from the first 3 or 4, you find out he has got a tragic, horrific backstory. And Neville eventually becomes fucking badass. But Order of the Phoenix is where shit gets dark. It gets real dark. Fuck you, Ryan. There is so much more lore in One Piece and secrets to later in the series. If you read it, you would like it. I don't think he would. I don't think I know Ryan well enough. I don't think it aligns with his taste. Spoiled foods bother me more. Sorry, I'm fat, says Big Bob JC for $2. You don't have to apologize for being fat. Half these modern trailers spoil the movies nowadays. Yeah, it's a problem. I saw a post, not the next season drops in 2027 for One Piece. So I'm going to reread this and correct the grammar. I saw a post that the next season drops for One Piece in 2027. There is a site that does the entire anime abridged. Well, they're abridging the anime. Like Netflix is abridging the anime. I don't know when it's going to come out. That was announced years ago. Shad, Dragonlance, the story in the first novel around Gold Moon reminds me of Joseph Smith. Do you agree? Shad agrees. F.O. Cornali for $10 says, will you have another One Piece watch party? I missed the previous one. Maybe we'll do I can't do it this week though. I can't. Maybe the final 2 episodes, we can do the last 2 next week. That wouldn't be a bad idea. That'd be fun. What's worse, Star Trek 2009 or The Force Awakens? Jacob Wolf for $1.99. Wow. Force Awakens. Now, if you're asking me what did more damage to the franchise, that's a better way to frame the question. Got a cough. Hang on. I would say, hang on. Okay, what did more damage to the franchise? Force Awakens or Star Trek 2009? I will argue that those 2 movies are closer than you think as far as damage they did to the franchise. Force Awakens did more damage. Star Trek 2009 entertained people, entertained me, but it was more subtle, which makes it a little more evil. But Force Awakens did the most damage to the franchise, but Star Trek 2009 is a lot closer than people think. A lot closer. And also, they wasted remaking the original series. So tell me, chat, pitch me something. Pitch me anything that would get the general public to watch a Star Trek movie. What would get the general public, not Star Trek fans? By the way, Paramount has announced that they have 2 Star Trek movies in production, but they don't know what they're going to do with them. So you not only need to win back Star Trek fans, because that's not guaranteed, you need to get the general populace into the theater to make it worth making. And I don't think there is a single pitch that exists that would get people into the theater to make a Star Trek movie even a mild hit, unless it had a budget of $40 million, which is impossible. I don't think, because like Star Wars, if things go to shit, they can remake Star Wars. They can remake Empire. They can remake, you can't do that with Star Trek. Are you going to remake TNG? Oh God, they probably would. You going to remake TNG? There isn't a Star Trek pitch that exists that would get people into the theaters unless you found a way to make it a hit, unless you found a way to make it a movie with a $40 million budget. See, like that would interest me. The general public doesn't even know who the Romulans are because they have been so underserved. They were even like, I would argue they're my favorite villain. And I still think they were underserved, completely underserved. I think the best chance you have is making a TV series. Making a TV series. Forget the movies. You're not going to make the movies will flop. The movies will flop. Make a TV series. Here's the only chance they have, and they're not going to listen. You put everything Kurtzman did into the Kelvin timeline. You pray really hard that some of the Star Trek fandom will come back, because all of them will not come back because they're kind of fucking old. They're dying out, for Christ's sake. And then you continue right after the return of Voyager, or you know what? No, jump ahead enough years to where you don't feel the need to bring any of those characters back. Put a crew on a ship on a mission to some unexplored area. That's it. He offered. They said no. I guess there's an Orville season 4 coming, but so it'll take 2 years to make it. I think it's just like that thing just took too long to make. It just took too long to make. But yeah, they supposedly they have the season 4 scripts written. Space Bro, the final frontier, bro. These are the voyages, bro, of my TikTok followers, bro, going where no fucking true Star Trek fan wants to go at all. Says the SPL colorist for £5 proper money. Star Wars movie pitch. Rey loses a hand. That's another one. Like, where in the fuck do you go with Star Wars? Well, you have to go so far and remove the Skywalker family from it, then it really isn't Star Wars anymore. So you might as well just make an original IP at that point. Just recently started and ended up binging the 12 Monkeys show, probably the best show about time travel that no one knows about. Oh, Dan Ho for $10. I covered it on this channel. I've got reviews of it on this channel. Live stream reviews in early days. I love 12 Monkeys. Now, it is nothing like the movie. It is a procedural show compared to the movie. The movie's a fucking masterpiece. But I like that show. Terry Metalis. Re-release of Watchmen in theaters, free money of Snyder. Yeah, I don't know why they haven't re-released Snyder's movies in theaters, because there is enough of a rabid fan base to like go see them. You know, not wide release, but you know, it's kind of interesting. Did they or did they not release the Snyder cut in theaters? I can't remember. Chat, did they release the Snyder cut in theaters? The thing was filled for IMAX too. Did they do like a week release or something like that? I can't remember. I cannot remember. The Orville is, well, I mean, the Orville is not canceled. It's in hiatus, but it kind of is canceled. But Seth MacFarlane has enough juice to, like, if he wanted to do a season 4, they'd put it up on Hulu. Angry Shellback says, I don't care. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough, sir. Just recently started and ended. Oh, I read that one. Our announcement. Buy our new NFTs. Oh, yeah. For Firefly. Yeah. I'm Ryan's favorite character, Goramit. Goramit. I want to watch Firefly again. I just watched it 6 months ago. Hail FNT, Denis Villeneuve should direct a Battlestar Galactica movie based on the 78 version. No. I would say this. The effects team that he used for Dune, you use them. Whoever did the effects for Dune, you use them 100%. I think because Battlestar Galactica 78, Denis Villeneuve would try to make it too somber. And Battlestar Galactica 78 had swagger, right? It had levity. I still think that not now. Think of another universe, not the one we got sucked through a micro black hole in 2008, or no, when they turned CERN on, whenever they turned CERN on, and it made everything stupid. We're in the stupid universe. But I think you'd have to find a director that can do proper science fiction, but still with some levity. And I would love to see the 78 version of Battlestar Galactica done, because I think that is a great story. It is a template for something that could be fucking awesome if done right. It is a jewel sitting out there that nobody's touched. And I love the Battlestar remake, but I like the concept of the 78 series is fucking great. And they were just limited by, it was 70s TV. Dude, when I was a kid, I dug that show. Big Ounce for $10. What I will say about race swaps in the show is that many of them have been gone through by and checked off by Oda. Example, the SBS where he goes over the Straw Hats and what ethnicity and nationality they are. I say, make your characters look like they do in the damn source material. But if you can't, make sure if it's one that it wouldn't, fundamentally change the aspect of the story. But I'm mostly against it because it only goes one way. It only goes one way when it's race swaps, doesn't it? Vexar for $5. Oh, except in the Battlestar Galactica remake. Yes, they made Starbuck a woman, but Colonel Ty was black. They made him a white dude. He was one of the best fucking characters in the new show. I still don't like that they brought up the Nolan and Liar book while they were still in the East Blue. That book was published in the North Blue. Hi, Ryan. Just checking in how you are. Gary, thoughts on Fargate Season 2 story arc about Ensign Bendover's deep dive into the backdoor cabins. Well, and again, it's another case of Ensign Bendover having to be saved by Phil McCrevis, Lieutenant Phil McCrevis. And Ensign Bendover is his secret nephew, right? But we're not supposed to keep it a secret because they're not really into nepotism in Fargate. But the backdoor cabins, scary place. Amir Sadek for 25 Arab Emirate pesos. Saying that One Piece's story is simple is insane. You guys don't even know 5% of the One Piece story or the subject matter it tackles. We didn't say, okay. Yeah. Simple themes. It's actually quite an intricate story. And we're still like entering this world. So we don't mean the story is theme. We mean the themes are pretty simple. It is And where it gets more intricate is within its character work. And I'm talking simply of the live action, not of the manga and the anime. It's like when people, if anybody got mad that, like, he lives a simple life. If somebody would get mad about that, it's all a matter of perspective on that one. When I say somebody lives a simple life, that's heaven from my perspective. A simple life is heaven because I didn't have a simple life when I was a kid. A simple life is, well, think Bilbo in the Shire. But the themes of the live action show are pretty simple. And that's not bad. It's not an insult at all. It means that everything is put on to these themes are really good because you have engaging characters. And honestly, the world building in just the live action, what I've seen is fucking awesome, by the way. It's really well done. But you're still dealing with themes of friendship, loyalty. You know, these are, you know, it's not something very intricate yet, but the intricacy is in its world building and its character work, which is pretty top notch. But I think whoever that was heard that as like, this is just a simple, dumb story. It's not what we meant at all. And, you know, I imagine it covers a lot of subject matter in 1,000 anime episodes. I'm guessing they cover a lot. Cy Fyron for $5 says 3 types of writers: good people who write good people, less good people who write what they aspire to be, and shitty people who write worse people. That's Alex Kurtzman's the last one for sure. DJ's Classic Garage for $5. I cover cars. It is stunning and brave how they have the same virtue signaling like Hollywood. Funny, both peaked in the 90s. See you in Orlando. Yeah, I saw Elon like talking about how much he loves Art Deco. It's like, make your fucking Teslas look like cars from the 30s. There's nothing stopping you at all. Probably some air, but the one he showed was aerodynamic. It's like, fuck, I would actually consider buying a Tesla if you made it look cool. I admittedly, I wanted a Cybertruck. I did. And I know they're fucking ugly, and I've driven one and they're awesome. But there is no way on God's green earth, no matter how much money I have, I am going to spend $75,000 on a car. Are you fucking kidding me? No way in hell. Like, what's a used Tesla truck go for? Let's see. What? Okay, that's what a used one goes for. Used Tesla Cybertruck prices generally range between $70,000 and $100,000. That is a fucking down payment on a house. Friends, Romans, countrymen. Let me give you some dadosphere advice. Unsolicited dadosphere advice. Don't ever buy a new car. Ever, 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 ever buy a new car. You're wasting your money. You're burning 30% of that. Go buy a car that's 2 years old, 3 years old, got some mileage on it. Yes, you want to buy it from a dealership. You're going to pay a little more, but you are paying for accountability. So you buy it from some shithole dealer They're going to bail out on you. They're not going to honor any of their warranties. So it's better to do it that way. Have it worked on at the dealership. You're also paying for accountability there, which really counts when it comes to that. And yeah, don't spend $70,000 on a fucking car if you don't own a house. I don't even do it when you do own a house, but get the house first. The down payment on a house or a condo. Jeremy is so pissed off politically that he has to argue everything. The movie guy for $20. Oh, he just argues. That's what he does. A critical review of Shad's book came out and got more views than any of his recent videos. And that's so funny to me, says Andrew Valdez. Okay. Here's the fair way to measure weekly versus binge. Do not mention any shows. Explain why one method is better without naming a specific show. Stranger Things is Jeremy's only example. Yes. The not doing shows weekly for Netflix is the same thing as Netflix not putting their movies in the theaters for a limited run. They're stubborn with their brand and they make so much money, it feels like it's working for them. But in both cases, good or bad, you're leaving money at the table. They would recoup their costs anyway, releasing it in the theater. So you're just making extra money. You would also reduce churn if you released your stuff weekly. Good or bad. So they are leaving money on the table. That is a fact. One Piece, pretty popular show right now. And by the way, you could release One Piece weekly and it would be fine because, as we discussed on Friday Night Tights, each episode has its own enclosed story that feels kind of like a movie. So it's not necessarily just one thing leading into the other. You could definitely have released that weekly, which means you would have had 8 weeks of people talking about One Piece. And as popular as it is now, it would be more popular. How do I know this? Well, it's popular now. But it's not going to have any of that cultural zeitgeist momentum. And well, let's just, you know what? What's the date today? Today's the 16th. It came out on, it came out Thursday, right? No, it came out the 10th. It came out. So it's almost been out a week, right? I'm going to check back with you. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. On the 28th of April. That'll be 8 weeks. 28th of April. And we'll see how many people are talking about One Piece. We'll see how many people are talking about the One Piece live action season 2 on April 28th. I'm guessing it won't be much. But if you released it weekly, you would have had people talking about it for 8 to 10 weeks, because then the binge people would have come in on April 28th and burned through it. So you have another wave to push it into the cultural zeitgeist. This has nothing to do with me doing YouTube. This is people talking to each other. It has nothing to do with YouTube. It would be much better to cover that way too. But honestly, I would only do one review on a season of One Piece, whether it was weekly or binged. Problem is, I could work on that review early and have it out while it's still in the zeitgeist. Now I'm going to have to work on it, and it will not be in the zeitgeist by the time I'm done with the video in a couple of weeks, much less April 28th. So we'll see. We'll see how many people will be talking about One Piece on April 28th. which is when it would have ended if it was weekly. Here's but that's Ryumple, you are right for $10. If we leave out just the TV show, right? Because we could always bring up the best examples. Well, what about this? What about Squid Game? What about Stranger Things? Okay. What about the 100 other shows that have completely failed? There have been more failures with the binge model than successes. You could say, well, there's been more failures of weekly than there's been successes. Yes, but there's been more successes weekly than binge model successes by orders of magnitude. A Night of the Seven Kingdoms works weekly because of what it's Westeros. A show like Guy Ritchie's Young Sherlock should be binged because we have nothing to compare it to. It's not RDJ or Cumberbatch, so to drop it all helps in that case, in my opinion. Honey Badger, thank you for the 1999. Is anybody talking about Guy Ritchie's Young Sherlock? I haven't even dived in on it. I mean, maybe they are. I mean, so much shit came out at once. Like, I still need to see War Machine. It's just everything came out like all at once. Which is a good problem to have. We have a lot to choose from now. I know, chat. What did you think of War Machine? But I'll watch Guy Ritchie's Young Sherlock. I'll give it a shot. I like Guy Ritchie. A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I mean, it's already established. I don't know what you mean by it works weekly because of what it's Westeros. It might have been a typo there. No, actually, after watching it, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms binged, it is much better binged. It is a much better experience, but you still release it weekly because you can always binge it when it's done. So what happens is when you dump everything all at once, it makes it disposable. So you know, it's really this tech attitude where you spam shit and you look for something that's viral instead of thinking about the long game. Sacrificing the future for the now instead of, I don't know, maybe learning that life, business, and everything in our reality is a marathon, not a sprint. And even if you have this massive hit, like Stranger Things, you still got to come up with something else the next month instead of riding the wave of Stranger Things for 2 months. And it has nothing to do with like what I prefer as a watching experience. This is all about what will make a business more money. What will make a business more money? And they are, without a doubt, without question, leaving money on the table, not putting their movies in theaters for fucking 30 days. And not releasing their stuff weekly. But they are so up their own ass with their brand and how they're number one that they would releasing something weekly and releasing stuff in theaters would seem like a defeat for Sarandos, because Sarandos doesn't care about Hollywood. He wants if Netflix is the only thing left, that's what he wants. That's what he wants. He wants Netflix to be the only place to go for entertainment. That's his goal. To crush and destroy all competition. But there will be a day where Netflix just becomes boring. And, you know, Like there'll be peaks and valleys, like with all businesses, right? You're only on top for so long. You're only on top for so long. And dude, they just had a big valley a couple of years ago, if you recall. And they're going to need to make changes, like, I don't know, figure out ways to reduce churn, which is their biggest problem. And it's probably really good that they didn't buy Warner Brothers. I mean, it's good for reality, but it's good for them too. Because they have, like, their overhead is, you know, the driver space and their buildings. They do have, by the way, they're if you ever go to the Netflix building, it is adult daycare. It is absolutely adult daycare there. Alabama sent us their gayest, not their smartest. VJ the Vigilant for $4.99. Poor Jeremy catching strays here. I think proof that weekly is better is the impact of One Piece, the anime, versus the impact of the live action. How is the anime, chat? How is it released when it is live? Is it weekly? Or like bi-weekly? Weekly. There you go. Well, that settles that one. I think it's long been settled. I like arguing about it, but it's long been settled. Most streamers don't do. I think they did it with Clarkson's Farm. And it's like, it's fine with Clarkson's Farm. I'd still release Clarkson's Farm weekly. Jeremy is correct. Butterflies are like alligators. Devious Bard for $20. Star Trek 90210. Made me think about how it could have been good. Strand the cadets and teachers where they have to try to get back home. Each episode is an on-the-job training, sort of like Lost in Space meets The Rookie. That's a better concept than one they came up with. And, you know, how many times have we said that, Devious Bard, where you guys come up with better ideas than Hollywood does? It's often. Kilroy was here for $10. Jeremy, you were wrong the last time you guys argued about this, and you're wrong now. Nerd fight, let's go. I missed this, says Kenny Ramey for $2. Arguing with Jeremy about the binge model versus weekly is like trying to explain per capita to black people. Yeah, Ryan read that one. Jeremy kind of sounds like we haven't tried socialism in America, people. Oh, that's a low blow. Do that to my boy. Odinson for $5. Binge versus weekly again. Get your popcorn ready, folks. This is going to be good. It was pretty fun. Weekly, it's already been proven. It has. Shows like Night of the Seven Kingdoms on One Piece give me hope. All is not lost in entertainment. Hail the Fellowship. Love you guys. Not like that. Well, maybe for the right price. Says Big Bob. Everybody's got their price, I guess. She looks like Jack Nicholson's Joker without the white makeup when she smiles. Oh, Maggie Gyllenhaal. Thank you, Hart Ponder, for $10. Matt Owens is responsible for the race swap. He can go and never come back, and for all I care. Well, he's gone, Amir Siddiq. He is gone. Never heard of One Piece until the live action. Now I've seen all 1,155 episodes of the anime, and I'm all in. Loving season 2. Oh, it's awesome. That's what it's supposed to do. That's what it's supposed to do. Shad, show the Bahubali. Do it. I don't know what that is. Blood Viper, thank you for the 10 British pounds, proper money. Ryan doesn't even like Life cereal, and even Mikey liked it, and he hates everything. Albert, not a retro. That's a retro super chat right there. Hail, my wife might be my wife might get induced tonight. Please pray for our healthy labor and delivery. Also, hi, Shad. It's your Dalen actor. Dawson, I hope everything went well. Dad, I'm sure everything went well. Rebel Wilson, the Rebel Wilson thing proves what I've been saying and thinking for decades. Advertising/marketing, which includes PR, is the most truly evil of industries. It is, Crispy. And in a lot of ways, it fucked up Hollywood. Was Rebel Wilson in Spinners? Or Sinners? He said Spinners here. I thought it would have been Ariana. Sinners getting more Oscars than Lord of the Rings is like Bam Adebayo breaking Kobe's 81-point record. It's just wrong. You can't put mediocrity over the GOAT. Well, it didn't win as many. Sinners got best screenplay. Michael B. Jordan got best actor, and it got best score, which it shouldn't have gotten. And best cinematography. I would have given it to Sinners over One Woke After Another for sure. I wrote a member chap about why no discussion of Storm Rider movie as a new IP. Seems like there should be some interest. Trailer was okay. BAFTAs was a setup. Everyone benefits, even JD, says John Vick for $2. Eudite says, and it's continued. Here we go. Instead of studios trying to force trash on us in a sudden market blitz, I think an indie-driven scene would see movies open locally first, then spread organically via proven success. That would be better than for theaters too. Instead of big opening weekend numbers and rapid drop off, movies would grow over time on merit, less gambling for theaters and viewers alike. Interesting thought. The problem is, if it's indie driven and they paid for it themselves, the problem is like even getting into theaters because of the big studios, they've made it, that's a high bar right there. You got to pay a lot of money to get in the theaters. Hang on just a second. All right, talk amongst yourselves. Just a sec. Hang on. You know what sucks about this room is like I'll hear something fall and then I'm like, I don't know what fell. And I find it like in a month. I don't know what fell. Something fell and I'm like, I have no idea what fell. I can't see it. Where was I? Thanks for waiting, chat. I appreciate it. Letting movies grow on, it's kind of what it used to be a long time ago. I think the model, getting people to theaters is going to, each year it's going to get harder and harder. It just is. And there'll be certain movies. It's kind of like the Stranger Things argument. We can always talk about like, oh, well, there's Oppenheimer and Avatar, and there's these big things, but there's also months and months and months of without those movies. And usually you get one or two of those movies a year. That's not enough to sustain movie theaters. You need those mid-level movies. We miss the mid-level comedy, the drama. Like they don't make those for theaters anymore. Anything going to theaters has to be spectacle at this point. Growing up, my mom and I saw movies every week. In high school, I went to movies every week. Since the message became the priority, the last film I saw in a theater was Riff Track's Point Break on October 2024. That is not unusual to hear, which is crazy. Matthew Faxine for 20 says, talking about patriotism, I will always remember the time I went to Disneyland and the morning the workers raised the flag and every American stopped and watched it Rise, to me, that is American, and I wish my country did that. Yeah, your country's young, but yeah. I mean, pretty soon your country might, pledge allegiance to the American flag. You never know. Albert, not a retro for 10 Canadian pesos. Jeremy, the reason the movies up till SJWs took over did well is because while diversity was a consideration, white man bad wasn't part of the plot. Heroes and villains came in all types. And that's all, when they talk about diversity, they just mean less white people. They still mean that. Hail chat, One Piece anime is 1,155 ways better. A question for Ryan. Now with AI movies being able to compete with Hollywood studios, can you see a day when the Yuzon Vong War is brought to our screens? Ryan, I'll have to ask Ryan that question. That'd be interesting. Hello, Gary and crew. Once again, I would like to plug my book, Liquor Street Stories. And yes, the word liquor is misspelled by design. Yeah, it's spelled like liquor. Hope you check it out. Thank you, Rebby. ZJ for $20. If you don't know what a ZJ is, you can't afford it. What's amazing is the original Bride of Frankenstein is all about male loneliness. Yes, the bride rejects him in the original as well because he's a monster, duh. But in the original, the monster has the appropriate response. Toucan Element for $4.99. Guy Ritchie's In the Gray looks like a fun time. Together, it stars the better Gyllenhaal and Cavill. It comes out May 15th. Maggie Gyllenhaal, more like Maggie Gyllenhaal. She was in The Secretary. Do you know what she let a man do to her for that? Echoes of Ancients. I've seen The Secretary. For the Discord admin fund, you need it, Gary. I have no idea what goes on in the Discord. Alien Blue. I have no idea. TJ Crink for $2. Jeremy, you're forgetting when she replaced Rachel Weisz. Harry Brownhole for 2 Canadian pesos. Maggie really thought she'd made a Barbie plus Joker hit. She did. Beefy 5-layer husbando says, some say making an impact, others say cratering. Ah, there you go. As far as women are concerned. As far as women, Starfleet Academy feels like a mashup of One Tree Hill and The Expanse, except it's written by retards for retards. Yes. Entertain, don't indoctrinate. Is that hard? Apparently it is, Lloyd Parsons. Female directors are still females, always allergic to accountability and think they're owed everything. Like all women, they deserve much less, says Chris B. Philip Bunchoff for $10 says, hello, Friday Night Tights. Fun fact, my mom was born on the exact same day when the very first episode of Star Trek was aired. So she is just old. Take care. God. You're right, Gary. It's not three-dimensional space. It's 2D, as in 2D under the Klingon skirt. No, this is scorn fiction. I like it. Judah for $20 says, question for the panel. Are there any movies, shows, games, books that came out in the past 5 or 10 years with any potential to become a franchise? Or have we seen the last franchise media for a while? Oh, boy. That came out in the last 5 years? A franchise? I would have to give that some thought. Maybe some game. I think there might be potential in games. Everything has potential. Kurtzman should be shoved into a crate and stored in the same warehouse they keep the Ark of the Covenant in. I would agree with that. Ginormous J for $10. Line Becken for £5 proper money. Watching Starfleet Academy is like drinking absinthe. It burns to a consume and leaves me nauseated as I'm now seeing more than green fairies. Never touch that stuff. Don't know what it does. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one insufferable Karen. Alani for $20 says Kentucky and a few other states have a law where presumptive custody of children is 50-50 until one party fights for more, with the expectations for DV cases, divorce cases. Divorce filings declined 25% from 2018 to 2023, but some refute that claim. Interesting. Io, new Trek is less to boldly go where no man has gone before, and more Tato Nello Stato Niente alla di fuero della Stato nulla contro la Stoto. I don't know what I just said. Maybe I just said everybody was gay. I don't know. That's Chilean, Hispanic. I don't know. What a good Trek series to revive the franchise. Fire Kurtzman, all writers, and decanonize all of Star Trek. Hire good writers who love Star Trek. Make it a 5-year exploration mission on a new Enterprise and cast Vic Mignogna as the captain. That's not bad. One Piece Season 2, Episode 3, action sequence with Zoro. Shit's all over anything any studio has come out with. You could tell that's Sonny Chiba's kid. Yeah, that scene where in the bar where he's got to like defeat 100 people. That was fucking awesome. That was awesome. Josh Kelsey, thank you for the $19.99. I appreciate it. Baroka Works. That was fucking awesome. That scene was great. Only good thing about Star Derp Academy Season 1 is it's over. Joker accidentally saved Gotham by killing Rachel, says TJ Jordan for $1.99. Molag Bal has donated $10 and walks away. That's what he does. Thank you. Just like Josh Kelsey. Green Lantern is so simple. 2 hijacked F-22s in a dogfight with Hal. He smacks them out of the sky with a green baseball bat while a young John admires from the ground, taking notes. Easy trailer. Yeah, that's too silly. Nicholas Horton Justice for Rebecca Forever for £5 says, hi, Gary. The 4 recent Star Blazers anime episodes are now available to watch on Crunchyroll 2 weeks after they release in Japan cinemas. Oh, so there's okay. I got to check that out. I don't know if I'm subscribed to Crunchyroll. Maybe I'll have to find another way. Didn't come to meet up without riding Hagrid, says Sunny Hard. All right. Congratulations to everyone for surviving Starfleet Academy. You all should get a medal for your service by watching this shit for us. It's all good. Thank you. Jeffinator for $5 Australian. Albert Not a Retro for $5. Gary, did you get my email explaining my praise for Chrissy's video on David Chow and Asa Akira? I did, Albert. Thank you. Captain JPS for $2. Today I learned how to spell clowns right. That's funny. You spelled it wrong. Epic Ventura for $19.99. Have you ever heard the story of how Hulk Hogan betrayed me to Vince McMahon? It's not a story the WWF would tell, says Epic Ventura. Epic Mike's not here to do the Jesse the Body Ventura. This week was quite eventful. Today is my 30th birthday. The world is still sane, and One Piece Season 2 is actually good. By the way, for One Piece Season 2, Episode 2, without spoiling anything, the song of the Rumbar Pirates is grimly foreshadowing. Also, One Piece, they are perfectly executed race swaps as well by making an afro-wearing guy with a large smile. Also, the laugh is perfect. So that's all from Varn for 15 euros. Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday, Varn. Stephen Arnell taking responsibility. Both Rachel Zegler and Maggie Gyllenhaal or Gyllenhaal refusing to take responsibility. There's a lesson for you. I know it. The Grand Duchy for 1999. I love the actor who plays Luffy. His name is One Piece. One Piece. Troop Captain for $29.99. Also, hello all. I hope you're all having a great week. Last Sunday, I went to the BTTF with the live orchestra, and Sunday I'm going to see The Matrix for the first time in 35 millimeter. Looking forward to it. Awesome. Hope you had fun. Alex Belfort for $4.99. Gary, in your time in Wisconsin, have you found any good comic book stores to recommend? Yeah, I found a good toy store. Freak Toys in Sheboygan. Freak Toys in Sheboygan is fucking awesome. He's got comics there too. He's got a pretty decent comic collection, but it's mainly a retro toy store, and it's unbelievable. Jack Milsom for 20 British pounds proper money. Gary, have you seen EFAP movies The Descent? If so, how hard did you get it when Neil Marshall said Raiders of the Lost Ark was his favorite movie? I haven't seen the EFAP movies of Descent. I haven't, but I will. How hard did I get? I would probably get pretty hard. Maybe. I don't know. Super Mastermind for $5. Fake Wizard. I bet he has a closet full of fake beards to wear, and I bet he just opens the door and stares at them for hours. Why not? Wouldn't you? One Piece berry offering. Thank you, Southeastern Kaiju, for $2. First time super chat. Please get the word out on Diablo 1 and 2 creators have a tech demo for STEM for action RPG named Darkhaven. 7 days left on Kickstarter. Needs support. Cool. On Steam. It's misspelled. On Steam. It's on Steam. Little Jim's Halo for $2. Clown Tax $1.99. Thank you. Realistic Delinquent. They did it. Netflix made a good season 2. They did. I can't believe it. Unrelated, but Bill O'Reilly is starting a podcast with Ron Schneidenreiter called We'll Do It Live. That's funny. And Pugs is gifted 5 Nerdrotic subscriptions on Rumble. And that is it. That is it. My kid didn't answer my message. It's okay. It's okay. So let's go to the member questions here. Has there been a movie where the story revolves around comic books and a comic book store? Yes, there has been a movie with comic book stores in it. Yes. I mean, fully surrounding it, but oh my God, what is the name of that movie? What's the name of that? God damn it. Oh. Comic book villains. That's right. Comic book villains. Comic book villains. It's like a comic book Pulp Fiction. It's about finding a comic collection. Comic book villains. True Romance. Lost Boys. I've been to the comic store in Lost Boys. I know Eric has too. Mallrats, you know. Gringo Mayo's a new member. Welcome, with Kevin Smith crying. Gerald Armstrong is a new member. Welcome. WG has gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships. Thank you. Doc Possum is a new member. Welcome. Damn, 1 year Nerdrotic Live, and I think 7 years on Nerdrotic. Holy shit. Demi Moore's Tapeworm. I discovered you 2 months before the campfire. You helped me through it so much. Thanks. God, was that long ago too? Sorry, brother. I mean, sorry you've been watching the channel for 7 years. Hail, Gary. I've been reading the Eternals omnibus book, and I'm enjoying the wonderful story by Jack Kirby. Incredible looking artwork. It's great artwork. Story was all right, and they completely missed the point. Still could have made a good movie. Cheesy Tarian has gifted 5 Nerdrotic Live memberships. Thank you very much. Zen Zoltan for 15 months been a member. Hey, man, did you see that the best movie in the Oscars was one battle after another? Yes, I was watching the Oscars with Film Threat. Talk about a dead show and a dead movie. Hell. Imagine if Tesla got the rights to DeLorean. That would be, they should. He could buy them. I refuse to buy any vehicle that requires subscriptions and forces you to give up the right to repair. Boom. I refuse to buy a fucking vehicle you got to plug in. What if yeah, screw that. Illyria Burkle is a new member. Welcome. Is this Northier Than Thou is a new member? Welcome. All right, thanks everybody. Y'all have a great night. There will be Real BBC tomorrow, but no Nerdrotic Nooner on Wednesday. I'll be traveling. I'll be at MegaCon, so hopefully I'll see some of you there. But in the meantime, yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. on the Real BBC, where I will be talking to Az and Mahler, probably about Buffy and Joss Whedon for a long time. So, hey, thank you to the Modrotics. Thanks to everyone who left super chat and donation. You help keep the lights on. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining me tonight. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.